So I have been practicing um, yoga, meditation since last 5 years. And then 2020 during COVID, I did some two kind of like in-house solitary retreats myself. Like I didn't go out for 21 days and then 40 days. After those retreats, I kind of had an experience. I won't say that as an experience, but since then, I can feel, or I'm the self, right? So I can feel it. I know this is it, but then I have no interest in reading books. I have no interest in doing meditation, and when that I want, I will call it a glimpse or a awakening. When that happened, I literally laughed like, is this it? Because I've been thinking that it will be a huge thing or a huge big bang, but it was not. I was reading one of Punjaji's book, Nothing Ever Happened, and that's when it dawned to me that, oh, I'm that itself, right? So there's nothing to find, nothing to know. But the question is, what to do with this time? I have like plenty of free time now. I do not go out, do not do anything, and nothing interests me, right? And then I've been willing to talk to somebody who can either relate this experience or they can talk about like what to do. I can learn from, I follow Raman Maharshi very closely. He's my guru. I can see at his life and I can get the glimpse like, okay, this is what I should do, right? Stay in self, abide in self all the time and let things happen. As in, I'm working, so I should keep working and do groceries, make like eat and all that. I'll just do everything, but I will abide in the self all the time. This is what I understand. But I wanted to talk to somebody like you who can help me or relate this with yourself, right? So that's the question I have.
Yeah, look, it's a very good question, and I can completely agree with you that though you touch your bliss, but because body moves, things happens, and in Hindi there is a word sarthakta, which means utility or what is the use of any action or doing or reading or meeting. Actually, that completely get lost. The reason is because world is made up of worldly people. That is very, very true. You can't deny it. So, wherever you go, whatever you do, you will come across people who use only ego. They have no other tool to operate, to talk, to be. And it's not that they are interested in self. They have no clue and they are not interested and they are fine with that. But when you interact, you bring a different level of energy in every mundane talk, which is a good help to everyone actually in a different way. Whether they understand it or not, it doesn't matter. And and that energy does things in its own way, which even you will not know. That is the most important thing, that the one abiding in self as self has no clue what is happening. He cannot claim, he cannot take credit of if things are happening uh, in a way which is helping others. He doesn't know. He cannot know because that knower who was doer is dissolved. So there is nothing there. But I'll tell you that self, that absolute knows the best way how to utilize this opening. So no one has to worry about it. Actually, there's nothing to worry. There's nothing to do also. And it takes it in a way that it opens up. I'll tell you when this happened to me, and then I was in this so much of contented space for many months. There was an occasion, and it was my 50th birthday, which we all celebrate, but it was just a small get together at home. My son was in year 12 and my wife didn't do much, but there were few people were there, and I thought, what a nice gathering. At least that was the first time I told just that what I'm feeling. And exactly, the intention was maybe it can help people and I can talk to them, because there was no one to talk about it. And you know what happened after I told? People asked, what is the use of this? And the second question people asked me, how can we use what you have realized for our kids? So I had no clue. I thought, yes, so that means whatever has happened is just happened to me, and I should just agree and just be in it, and that's all. Because all around me, no one is interested in it. Either they are interested in their kids, maybe not for them. They think they are perfectly fine. Maybe their kids need help, or they think, what is the utility? Can we get more money out of it? Or can we get a bigger house out of it? Like, people always, worldly people will talk for worldly things. And definitely it cannot provide anything like that. Like, you can go on YouTube or you can see a lot of gurus who teach you how to be a millionaire or how to be famous or power of mind and all those things. But here there's nothing. Actually, if you go into it, maybe you will lose all your money because you have no interest in money. You will lose all your contacts because you have no interest in talking gossip. Actually, it takes away, the mantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. What is Hare Hare? Hare Hare, it takes away. All the worldly things will disappear, start disappearing. Maybe a person can become a fakir, a beggar. Who knows? Maybe it might take away everything, not give. So definitely it has nothing to give except peace and contentment. That's all it is. Knowing ourselves is knowing that we are nothing. That's all. But somehow that grace, which has dawned on this body mind complex, it knows, probably it knows best how, whatever it has to do with it. If you see, there are sages in Himalayas, in caves, sitting there. No one, and even maybe other species are also very less. But there must be something to do with that awakening. That awakening must be purifying the whole world or the whole cosmos, just sitting there. Like they are transmitters of that pure energy sitting there. They're showering their bliss to everything. Who knows? And who has to worry about it? That absolute which has taken care of everything, knows how to use or does so, that is also not our burden. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, to start with, he said so many times, he used to give two very nice examples. One was, he used to talk about temples in South India in which they show those statues holding the pillars, as if they are holding the weight of the whole temple. They said, same thing, ego thinks that I am doing, I have to achieve, I have to take responsibilities of family. If I am not there, then what will happen, as is, I am, everything is me. Or he used to give another example, you're in a train and you are carrying the load on your head, while the train can take all the load. It is already taking the load of you and the what you are carrying on your head. Then who are you who has to do anything? So same thing applies even in this awakening, that whatever this is, this knows, this will do or not do. And uh, and I'll tell you, a space like this in satsang, where people are almost there or interested in that, and have glimpses of that, or whatever you call it, is a beautiful place to share that energy. I think that is what it is. um,
Yeah, that's why I found you out, because I was looking for anybody who is like into Raman Maharshi's teachings, and if because they are the people who can relate this. Others will have their own ways, like Bhakti Yoga will have like Krishna's darshan or something, some vision or something, right? But yeah, since December 2020, I've been experimenting on few things, but I have analyzed that whatever food we eat, it impacts. Like since 2017, I'm vegetarian. I do not eat meat or egg or anything. But I have been experimenting with onion and garlic as well. Like I did not eat onion and garlic for 5 years, but now I'm experimenting. I can see that food, environment, the atmosphere that you live in, and the company, the people you are with, that impacts the mind, because mind is still there. It's not, it has been purified and we can feel the self all the time. Like I'm very peaceful all the time. I do not get upset, do not get angry. I can see that it's mind game or it is happening in the head, right? But I am something which is behind everything. So that peace is almost all the time. Like it's every time, even if when I sleep or when I wake up in the night, I can feel the peace. I can meditate on the self for like an hour and then I'll sleep again. So all that is great, but it was only like, what I do with this time? I do not want to read, do not want to do meditation, do not want to do yoga, because all this is like kind of like child's play. Like children can do these things to entertain the mind, but because we are not the mind, so what's the use? So that was the only question. But yeah, these things, the food, the company, people who are with us or we are with anybody, and the environment, like office environment or anything, it impacts. If and I can relate that with even Raman Maharishi, Adi Shankaracharya, and anyone like sages. They were living in a certain environment because of a reason. Like even if someone is awakened or enlightened, even that person goes to a club every night, then I'm pretty sure that there would be a fall. Like, yoga brushed or something. There's a word in Hindi as well, right? So that's what I learned. And it's just that I'm experimenting myself in the sense that see how my mind reacts in certain situations. So that's all I'm doing since December 2020.
I have to add something, Deepak, in this your experimentation. Yes, the mind is there, but there is a thing in which I would say, in spite of having peace, there is still some progress to be made. Because what happens is when there's a newfound discovery of this energy, it it does not like, I have to use this word, it does not like a company where there's a lot of gossiping, or there's a lot of,
Correct.
like a party, or where the people
Mm-hmm.
are indulging. It can be someone's house, and energy at every house is also different, because some people are always in indulgence. There's always alcohol served. Look, I'm not, don't take me personally for anyone, but I'm just talking about energy levels at every home is different. The way everyone's mind in that home works. Some people are very peaceful, contented, helping, even with that ego. The ego level of egos are also different. Some egos are very much for me, and they are in all sort of sensory indulgence. So those environments, when a newfound energy of that consciousness goes, it gets irritated or dislikes that atmosphere, and look, it finds its own way. So you can walk around in the garden, or you can walk around the block, or something like this. I have done this so many times, and with the God's grace, there would be a phone from hospital or something, and I'm busy in half an hour in that, and then most of that, what is happening, I'm not there at all. Or I can find someone who has some level of understanding like me, and I walk out, and so it finds way, and I can understand, I can correlate, because it's becomes sometimes very difficult living in the same atmosphere, no, with this energy. It looks like a punishment, because that atmosphere has not changed. Those are the same people with whom you are interacting for last 20, 30 years. They behave in the same way. They talk about the same, how the share market is going and what is, and you have no interest. I have got hundreds of books which I have not opened. People think that I am a spiritual person, so they keep giving books on spirituality to me. I have not even opened any book because they think I need to read this book because I'm interested in that. So, look, it is all, but when you understand that it is just going to be this way, and we don't have to agree or disagree, you stay in your presence and then something just opens up. Nowadays, so many people I come across at different levels who are very, very mature seekers, or they're almost there, or and it is beautiful. Just like, look, see, here we are, all these people, we are all one. So that energy draws that thing, so that just happens. And then there is a time when I was talking to you about the progress means that this thing becomes so well established that wherever it goes, it does not deter from it, and it does not get affected by anything, because there are some tendencies of the mind which tries to pull you into this, and the thoughts might come because of the old tendencies, because you have done all those sorts of things which people are doing. You can't say that no, the mind doesn't go. Mind sometimes goes. Even when I say, use the word that it dislikes, that means because it has liked it, now it dislikes it. It's not neutral, it's not in an impartial state. To get deeper into that impartial state, the best is definitely solitude and spending time with your own self, no one else. The second good thing is the things, activities which are neutral, like maybe cooking, washing, cleaning, gardening, walking, something in which there is no other human interaction. They are also like solitude, driving to work and all those sorts of things. And some things even with people are very neutral, like any transaction at work, or just a normal talk. When it comes to gossip, that is really bad, because in what gossip is about, me, I have done this, you have done this, or you know talking or bitching about someone who is not there, or maybe a loose talk. Because if you see, that's what we do when we meet people in a normal circumstance. There's nothing else to talk otherwise. Otherwise, you will be in silence. And people, to be in silence is so difficult. Like you go to a gathering, and if everyone is just in silence, people get very restless in that silence. People don't know. The mind wants to do something. So I would say, yes, all these things works, and all these things affect. And I'll tell you, the food thing affects more that energy than anything else. I think it doesn't affect ego that much, because, but when you are in this energy, any type of food, I can go to this extent that who is cooking the food. So when we go out, we go to a restaurant, you don't know who is cooking for whom, and what is their intention, what they are thinking. Are they drunk while drinking, making the food? What they are thinking, what their thoughts are. And most of the restaurant, the thought is mainly to get money out of it, or it's all worldly thoughts going on. It goes into the food who is preparing. And I agree, in India, sages, they don't eat at anyone's house. They eat at their devotees or disciples or people who are into that type of commune, because even the person who is cooking, the ingredients used, fresh food, and all those things affect. And when you go to a party, most of the food is just brought from somewhere, and whatever it is. And but there are ways to deal with all these things. We can eat at home and then go, you can have some fruits there. So it that energy somehow sorts out everything in that atmosphere also, whatever that atmosphere. But one thing is, we should not be hate anything or be repulsive, because then it becomes a negative energy. And you would notice that creates restlessness, and again ego comes in a different way, that I am pure and others are impure, or it can create any other type of drama. So staying in the impartial neutral state in that awareness is most important, the most important. Even if everything around us is not happening conducive to that energy, even doesn't matter. It we have to practice total acceptance, because we still will be having a family or people, and they are still there. It's not their fault. You have moved on. It is you who has to adjust, not them. So accept and have that compassion and love for all those beings, because they also have the same energy. They have not opened up their parcel, they have kept it that packet closed. That is the only difference. You, me, everyone, even an insect, animal, tree, everything is the same energy, same awareness. Is that without that nothing can be exist? Yes, things can exist without ego, but things cannot exist without self. So self is that important. Be in that energy and say thank you to that, and just be with that. And whatever thought comes, because I have to point this thing, peace is there, mind is still there, and mind can drag you into any negativity, because it's still waiting for your interest in it. And that interest can be with the old habits, or interest can be exactly opposite to the old habits, that someone can become very strong about their ideas. I can share one thing with you. When one time there was a very very strong staunch thing came as a thought to me, that I will stop going to anyone's house who drinks alcohol or who eats non-vegetarian. I will stop accepting invitation from any house or any place. It came so strongly, but then I just watched in that witness, and it dropped. And it came back again, and it dropped. Because who am I to decide what others eat or drink or what they do in their life? It's up to them. And if that energy feels that I need to go, I might go. But if doesn't feel or something happens, I might go or not go, doesn't matter. But rather than taking those stances, we are not reformers. We don't have to be a reformer or a preacher, because all that ego takes that form. Sometimes you will realize that people on a spiritual path, they become more rigid. There's no rigidness, it's just spaciousness, there's nothingness. In this nothingness, everything is allowed, should be allowed, should happen and flourish. And whatever that action is will lead to its result, whatever the result would be, good or bad. So staying as that nothing, which is actually nothing, in reality it is nothing. And just witnessing body's actions and other body's actions, and in that impartial neutral. So I would say there is further progress to be made even in this knowing. And another very important word of caution is that vigilance has to stay till last breath. What you were saying, yog brushed, I know I don't want to name people, but there are sages who think they are, and then they doomed, because they thought now they can do what they want. So the mind came back, and the mind comes back in a person who thinks he has no mind, then nobody can sort him out. So that vigilance is important till the end. I'll tell you a very short story about Buddha. Even Buddha, who was an enlightened, and a new religion started after him. once he was talking to one of his students, and he was trying to move a insect from his body. He did that act and then was talking, and then he said stop, and then he looked again and he did that act again. And the student said, what are you doing? That fly is no more there. Why are you doing? He said, I did it unconsciously, subconsciously, as a reflex. I want my Chetna to be in every action. It has to be, I have to be there. So this is the thing. Ego has its own nasha, or you are deluded in ego. And we do, and we talk, and then people call you back. Sorry, I said this, I'm so sorry the way I spoke to you. Why this happens? Because it is, you are in that deluded state. And then on the top of it, if you have alcohol, you get double diluted, you're already diluted. Your faculties are not open. So this is the thing. Even when we realize and we feel that peace and contentment and love, we still have to be vigilant. Vigilant not as a paranoid vigilance, but still we need to understand what you are exactly saying. That mind, which is now, you can say, is like a gadget or an instrument, and you can watch it. But don't try to misuse it or abuse it. Still, that vigilance is needed. I think that is very important. And to stay in that impartial state, trust that state. That state does everything for us. It will make sure that whatever has to happen through that energy, that opening, it will happen. And accepting things as they are, whatever is happening around us. And your own experimentation, if it's happening, it's happening. If it's not happening, it's not happening. That's also okay. Because I'll tell you what will happen. Eventually, the body will die one day. It might die in few years or longer. But if that energy has to save that body, it will make sure that it will go longer. Or if whatever has to happen, it will drop tomorrow. It will drop tomorrow. So even this intention of saving a body or not, on how long it goes and what will happen, or the atmosphere will change, or I will live in Arunachala, or I will stay in whatever I'm doing, nobody knows. And nobody has any intention put in anything, is also giving work to the mind and then getting into that egoistic state. Best is to just accept whatever comes as the next scene in this picture, and staying as this witnessing. So it is very good to know, and yeah, we can talk anytime about these things. This is so beautiful.
Yeah, no, I'll let other people ask questions, and maybe we can chat again.
Yeah. Anytime. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your answers. Yeah.
Thank you. I think, Emily, you wanted to speak to me. I had your emails yesterday, so we can use this platform. This is so good.
Okay. Namaskara, Sanjay ji.
Namaskar. You want to switch on your video?
Maybe next time. I'm so sorry.
Oh. You don't. Next time you will come with a makeup. Don't worry.
I'm actually in the middle of work right now.
Okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Where do you live?
Arizona, US.
Okay. Yes, go ahead, please. Yes.
Well, the problem is, I understand there is like a suffering in the world, and also in reality there is nothing exists like this body or mind, and this is all ego talk. But still, whenever I can feel that silence or that emptiness, something pulls me out right away. I can't stay there longer. And from my own experience, I'm totally convinced that there is not much I can do as a person without that grace. And I'm totally confused here. Should I do anything? Can I do anything? Or it's all that grace? I don't know what to ask more.
When you're saying that you cannot stay in that state for long and then something pulls out, so whom are you talking about? That the one who goes into the state and then comes out of the state? So can you explain a bit more in detail about this state in which you are there but you can't stay longer?
Yeah, this mind, I mean this person, but wherever I am reaching, the place that I love is like so quiet. There is nothing there, absolutely nothing there. So peaceful.
Yes.
But I don't know if maybe my mind start thinking, comes out to this world, like this normal world. I love to stay in that place. I mean, I know when I say I, it is the ego, but that has to go, right? And it's not going.
So when you say that I am in that state and that then after that I can't stay longer and I come out. So when you say about that state of peace, what do you mean? Like, is it during your meditation or is just happens spontaneously?
Quite spontaneously. I try to like get to that level like throughout the day, even like during the work and whenever I'm doing something.
Hmm. I would suggest you that when you are saying that you are in a state which is peaceful and then you come out of it, why don't you just see all these states as just whatever comes and goes? Why your attachment to some peace is creating a problem because you think that you can be in this peace. The one who thinks I can be there, that is the problem. There is no I. That I needs to be washed, which says that I need to be in this state and then I move out of this state. This this the one who is trying to reach is the problem. So I would say you, when there is a peace, then don't take it as a state. Just be the witness. Don't clinch to it. Don't look for it that that's what you are for. And don't try to get out of it or something pulls, and just see that pulling also. Who is being pulled? Understand the problem is that there are two levels of operation in every human being. One is that ego level, which everyone is operating. And then transcending is from that operator, doer, to that witnessing self which is not doing anything. And at that level it is so much of clarity that things just happens, they just unfold. Even the actions of the body, even a selection of what to do or what not to do. But if the ego says that I have reached in that state and it's peaceful and then I'm pulled out and then I want to be there, you should move a step back from that and just accept whatever is happening. Just start accepting it. Then you will realize that the one who is trying to be in that state is a myth. There is no one there who wants to be there and wants to and then gets pulled out. And you rightly said it is just the ego or the mind, you can say. Ego is nothing but a form of mind only. Mind talking to mind.
Got it. Okay, so um, just don't. So basically, that peaceful state, that's also an experience.
Yeah, look, whichever thing from which you come and go is just an experience, you know. Experience are all at the level of
Uh-huh.
mind. Like, you know, a lot of people have darshan of God and they talk to God and all. And Bhagwan used to refute it. But if you see in Bhakti Marga, it is a huge thing. If God comes to you, the God you pray, He comes to you, He plays with you, it is a huge thing. And I don't deny that it's a big thing. You must be a very big devotee to get that experience. But when you come to non-duality, then it is just a blissful experience, nothing else. Ego is still there, and you have to go beyond ego. That is what I'm trying to tell you. You have to step out of it. You have to just witness that, and your witnessing will dissolve it. That is the beauty of this witnessing, rather than clinging to those experiencing and wanting those experiences.
Oh,
Bhagavan
okay.
said beautifully that what is the purpose of a god which comes and goes according to his own wish? You can't get him now. He said this to Papaji, isn't it? That what is the purpose of that Krishna you were playing? Where is we? Bring Krishna now. So these blissful experiences, this all states, this is only ego is enjoying, but ego is still there. To win that impartial state, we have to. They are good. They are good. I would say they are good signpost, which means that definitely you're feeling bliss and you're getting into. So, but we should not cling to that.
Okay, okay. Can I ask you one more thing?
Yeah.
Um, you said I should witness. So, who is witnessing?
Very good question. Yeah. I use the term witness, but yes, there is no witnessing. But witnessing to all these things happening in your mind and not attaching to it. That the one in which you are is saying that I have to be in this state and I have been pulled out of the. Just be aware of that. Aware of that or witness it. But don't get involved in it. Don't give your energy to that which is in a state and goes out of a state. Don't give your energy to that. I'll tell you why this is very important, because self gives energy and self energy goes to the mind, and the mind plays and creates an ego to which mind talks, and the doership is there in that role play. Energy comes from the self. That is why I'm saying to you don't give energy to this thing happening in you. Just witness it. Witness means that you are not accomplice to it. So who would be that who is not accomplice to it? Understand this truth. That self who is never accomplice to anything, unattached, non-doer. Why we always stress on non-doership in non-duality? Why? Because doership is ego, that's all. Whatever we do, even this sadhana, seeking, the doer stays, ego stays. And that is why we give so much of importance to grace, kripa. Why? What is kripa? Kripa is not coming from some external world or from sky or the God sitting somewhere. That self is kripa. The other name of self is grace. And why we say it is matter of grace, not doership? Because doership, if we give importance to doership, that ego stays, ego survives. But when we say it is kripa, then what you were saying, that what should I do? Should I not do anything? I would say yes. If you understand this truth, don't do anything. Leave everything to kripa. That is total surrender. That is much more effective than any technique.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much, Sanjay ji.
Thank you. Kantanji, do you want to enrich us with some shloka?
Enrich one.
Suddenly I thought of one shloka by Ramanaji. It comes in Ulladinarpade or Sadarshan. Devo na janati sato na janma dega pramanunya uteti madhye aham krati granti vibanta sukshma sharira cheto bhava janama devo na janati sato na janma. Deha, the body, doesn't know that it exists because it is insentient. Satavana Janma, Sat, which is the existence principle itself, cannot be born. Once it is born, it is not Sat. So, in between these two, of the size of the body, something comes in between. That we call as ego, that we call as, he gives 6 or 7 names. Aham kriti, granthi, knot, bondage, subtle body, mind, jiva, etc. So if we are clear about this, deho na janati sato na janma. For sat there is no birth, and for the body it is insentient without that sat. So in between something comes and says that I am this, I am that, I am Neelakantan, I am Deepak, I am Sanjay. Then that one which cries out, I want this, I want that. So if you are clear about that, the definition of ego he gives. So we know that once this understanding is clear, what to do after that? Prarabdham tiha bhujyatam. Give that to prarabdha. Whatever happens, let it happen. I am not involved. That uninvolved witness means, as she said about 2 things. There are 2 things. One, it is a witness. Here there is only one thing. There is nothing to witness because you are everything. So this, we have to think about this always. What be that? There is no question thinking about it. It is.
Thank you. Sometimes these terms can become difficult to interpret, and people interpret in their own way. Because in reality, there is no witnessing. But you use this term when there is a big ego. Then you have to say, just to separate you from ego, that witness this ego in the witness mode. The moment your witness is very strong, or I should say, when you are not giving energy to the ego dissolves, and whatever it is, it is. There is no name to it. Another important clue is that ego wants peace, ego wants contentment. You are that contentment, you are that peace. When the ego is not there, the only thing left is only peace. Thank you, everyone. Stay in that peace, stay in that absolute. We are all that absolute without any difference. Thank you.